I honestly didn't think I'd be talking about this so soon, but I am really glad that I am talking about it now. This short video, I'm going to be focusing a lot more on the breakup portion more than the relationship and how it was. However, I am going to give you a little bit of background. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, this video is me sharing my story on my last breakup, how I dealt with it, what that meant for me in my life. So I'm going to dive right into it and tell you kind of what kind of person I was when I would go through a breakup. In the past, before my last relationship, I would be the type of girl that would cry and cry and cry right after a breakup, even when it was me deciding to do the breakup, which I think in my past relationships, it was always me deciding to leave. Regardless, it was hard for me because I would always get attached really quickly to my relationships, which is something that I learned later on and something that I discovered about myself. I would be terrible with messaging them. I would message them when I would miss them. I would just take forever to get over a breakup. It was like the hardest thing that I feel like I had to go through in my life. Breakups were the worst until my last one. And if you can relate to the type of breakup person that I was, you may be thinking, okay, maybe this last relationship wasn't great, or maybe something happened for you to be able to get through this breakup differently than you did for other ones. But no, it was actually the complete opposite. This last relationship that I had was probably one of the best ones that I've had in my entire life. There's a few reasons why. One, because I actually was so in love with this person. I'm not gonna get into the huge details on the relationship. Like I said, it all started off when I was not looking for love. This person got me to fall in love with them in a way that I had never felt before. And I feel like a lot of it had to do with how he treated me and me seeing things that I wanted in a man. He was showing me that he had them, which to me, I was like, wait, what? Like, guys do exist like this still? I thought I was out of my mind. He actually started teaching me so many things that I will never forget and have never taken for granted. I literally thank him in my prayers all the time because the stuff that I learned while I was in this relationship changed my life completely. He started molding me into who I am today. Before, I used to be a huge people pleaser. I would put everybody else before me. He started changing that, and he started to really show me my value and allow me to be in my feminine energy so much more than I had in any other relationship. In any other relationship, I was acting out of my masculine energy. With this one, he was allowing me to feel safe and to feel protected and comfortable with being in my feminine, and he was taking on the masculine for many things. And so I got to see and experience a different thing in this relationship that opened my eyes to so many things. I can literally do a whole video on the life lessons that he taught me, which I may do one day actually, because this video I want to focus more on the breakup side. I'm gonna start off by saying that I actually never received closure from this breakup. As weird as this sounds, there was no official breakup. I had to decide. Closure was not needed. I had to create my own closure. That's kind of where everything started. I learned that you don't need the other person to create that closure. I learned that you can create that closure on your own. Needless to say, I started going through the grieving process. I made the decision, and making decisions is huge. If you have a hard time making decisions, you're gonna have a hard time in life in general. I made the decision that this was it, that I was moving on, and I started the grieving process. I went through all the stages of the grieving process and I allowed myself to go through them. I really just took a full, I don't know, I would say I didn't really ever count or anything like that, but at least 3 weeks to just go through that grieving process. Actually did not involve a whole lot of crying. There was a lot more anger than sadness in this whole grieving process. I could say that it took me about a month to get over him, which was mind-blowing to me because I'm like, wait a second. I was so in love with this person and it took me a month to get over him? What? I remember telling this story to my family and friends, which funny thing is my family didn't even know I was going through a breakup, which is weird because normally they know because I'm always crying. This time they had no idea. For one time it came up and I said it and they're like, wait, what? You guys broke up? Like, what? And everybody was just shocked because I had not been that person that I was with a normal breakup. When it started to get out a little bit more and my friends and family would ask about what happened, I was able to tell the story without crying, which is huge for me too, because I'm a big crier if you know me, and things like that make me cry. I could just tell the story, and it was very interesting because the stuff that I chose to remember from that breakup, from that relationship, after the whole healing process, were all of the good memories that we had. And everything good that came out of this relationship. I would tell my story and I would talk about him. People would sometimes question me like, wait, are you sure you're over him? Because there was nothing bad necessarily that I would say. I would talk about all the good moments. I would talk about everything he taught me. I would talk about the things that people don't normally talk about when they're going through a breakup. Usually when people go through a breakup, we'll talk and say things negative about the other person or just try to justify their side of the story, which was not at all what I was doing. In that whole process, I had learned my faults and I could see exactly where I could have improved and where I started to go wrong in the relationship and where I started to lose myself because of me. Totally changed the perspective that I had on love, because if you are like me, you are a hopeless romantic, you love love. I remember being in the relationship and thinking, this can't be true. And thinking, this is too good to be true. And thinking, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be devastated. I'm going to be heartbroken. This is going to be so hard if it doesn't work out. Yet, I made the decision to give it my all. I made the decision to still love the person and to still give them so much of me. Consciously made that decision. Throughout this whole process, I learned that I can love hard, that I can allow myself to be vulnerable. That was one of the things that my ex taught me, is how to be vulnerable, because I was not vulnerable at all. You see me and you people that know me are like, wait, what? You weren't? Like, no, I would not let people in so closely. I'd let them love from afar. But he really allowed me to be vulnerable. So I learn to be vulnerable and not be afraid to be vulnerable, because sometimes that can be hard. I learned that I could give it my all and that if it didn't work out, it was going to be okay. And I knew how to grieve a breakup. I knew that I would get through it. I knew that it wouldn't be the end of the world. And I could give myself permission to love as much as I wanted to. One of the most important things that I learned, though, was detachment, and how important detachment is when it comes to everything and anything in life, especially when it comes to dating. When it comes to dating, if you are not practicing detachment, you are setting yourself up for failure. And that's what I did in my past relationships. I would get attached so quickly. That's why the breakup process was so hard for me. And so I started to really practice detachment when I was going through the grieving process without even knowing that I was doing it. I learned about it, I would say, a couple months later. That's when I really started preaching detachment when it comes to anything, when it comes to your job, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to anything. Interestingly enough, I went through this breakup not on my own. I had a great support of friends, and that is so important. Having the people that are going to be there to support you, not the people that are inviting you out to drink, to get distracted, to just get your mind off of things. Like, that's not helpful. As much as it may come from a good place and good intention, that's not helpful, and that's not going to help you get over a breakup. The only way to get through things is to go through them, as uncomfortable as it can be sometimes. So I started my life coaching certification process probably the next month. So after I was over him was when I decided, okay, I want to do this for me. If you haven't watched my video on why I decided to become a life coach, you can go ahead and watch that. I was going through that process, and when I was working with a coach, they really wanted me to focus on one thing. And they really wanted me to hone in on something that I had experienced, that I had experience with, and that I could coach people on. So the first thing that kind of came to mind was my breakup, because I felt like I had discovered the secret to breakups. I felt like I had discovered the secret to getting over your ex, and I felt like I had the magic formula on how to figure life out. And so I created a program for someone who is going through a heartbreak, working to rebuild yourself, to really come to love yourself and learn and discover so much about yourself, because that's what happened to me. I put this all together, but I never advertised it, because I decided I don't want to be a breakup coach. That's not all I want to coach on. And so I just kind of had it in the back of my stuff. And if some client were to come up to me and tell me that they were going through that, I would say, I have just the thing for you. That's kind of how it all came about. My goal, help as many women as I can go through the same thing that I experienced, because I love the fact that I am not afraid to love. I love the fact that I know that I can get over a breakup if I wanted to, and if I decide and choose to. Because let me tell you something, that whole making decisions thing, that's where it's all at. If you are not fully ready to give something up, you're not going to. Been there, done that. I know how to get over breakups. It can still take me a while to get over someone if I am not ready to get over someone. So you have to be ready, and you have to make the decision that you're going to move on. I can proudly say that I never once reached out to my ex. Once I decided that we were done, I did not. And it still blows my mind to this day, because not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 10 times in the past was I the one reaching out to them. I have no hard feelings. I have nothing but love for that person and his entire family. I am excited to fall in love. I am excited to find someone new, and I am excited to see what the world is going to bring to me. If you know someone who could benefit from this, please share. If you know someone needing to do the work, please share. Also, here's the thing. There's a lot of relationship traumas that don't get resolved because either we turn to distractions, we turn to things where we try to avoid the feelings, we try to just mask everything. And so some of those things stay, or some of those things you do not heal properly, so you carry it on to your new relationship. And it's happened to me where I carry stuff from past relationships into new relationships for no reason, right? And then those things start to create problems in your new relationship where they have no idea where this is all coming from. So my goal is to be able to help address any of those issues as well while you're going through this program. So this is for you if you're single, but this is also for you if you're in a relationship and there is still this one relationship that you can think of that has brought you so many things that you have not been able to heal from, and it's affecting your new relationship. And obviously, this is for anyone who is in need of some more self-love. And even though you feel you may not have any breakup issues or relationship issues or anything like that, I can guarantee you that while we're going through the process, something will come up and you will have no idea and heal something that you had no idea you had a problem with. Doesn't get better than that. Do it for yourself. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for everybody you love and everybody that's around you, because what you carry inside affects everybody around you. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.